Okay, welcome back. This is our introduction to Fourier series. As you can see right here, I'm actually going to go back to another series that I know you all love called the Taylor series to help sort of make sense of it. So let me show you what I've got here. Here you can see I've got sine x, right? I could move it around. It's periodic. It keeps going, goes up and down like we know it goes. Here I have the first 4 non-zero terms of the series for sine x. I am not worried about how to find this or any of the convergence intervals or any of that stuff here. Instead, I'm just going to pop it on. And you can see in green here, I've got the series for sine x, and I can zoom in. And you can see that that it's a really good approximation. This polynomial, this x cubed x minus x cubed over 3 factorial plus x to the 5th over 5 factorial minus x to the 7th over 7th factorial. You can probably guess what the next term's going to be. Like, I zoom in, and they are the same. Like, they are so close. And they don't really veer off from each other until I get maybe out, this would be pi out here, 3.14. So, like, out as I get close to pi. So, remember, what a series is. It is, or what a Taylor series is. It's a polynomial. That means x is x squared, x cubes, x to the 4th, x to the 5th, etc. That with special coefficients. So the coefficient of this first one is 1. The coefficient of x squared is 0 because it's not there. Then x cubed gets a coefficient of negative 1 over 3 factorial. So it's these polynomials with these special coefficients that line up with these functions here. How do we get them? We just match derivatives, but I'm not going to get into that right now. That's not what I'm concerned about. What I am going to show is this right here, which is the general form of the Taylor series for sine x. And I'm going to try to go forward. So that would be y equals x. That is just this first term. The way that this is set up is so that n equals 1 will give me this term, or a equals 1 will give me this term. A equals 2 is going to give me this term and this term together. So if I go here, boom, you can see we get a x cubed function incorporated there that has a negative coefficient. And we go further, and if I go out to 4, you can see that this lines up the green and the blue land on top of each other, so it would be bam, like that. And if I go out, and let me just go like this, if I go out far enough, it just gets better and better and better. And that's what's amazing about these Taylor series, is that they converge on whatever we're talking about, depending on our interval, right? And I guess I said I wasn't going to talk about intervals of convergence, but the interval of convergence for this sine x, if I go to infinity for a, would be all real numbers. So the further I go out, the better it gets. If I go out to infinity, then the polynomial will match sine of x for all values. So hopefully you sort of remember that. Just the big picture stuff with Taylor series. It's a polynomial that fits a sine function. So Fourier series is a little bit different. Fourier series, I'll pop over to here. All right, so Fourier series sort of works in the opposite way. What I have right here is a graph of y equals, actually, let me change something. I changed the x grid here. What I want you to see is that this is a line y equals x. And it's y equals x, actually, if I zoom in here, if I had started like this, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's y equals x, right? Or it looks like it's y equals x. But if I zoom out a little bit here, you'll see that it's actually a periodic function. It's y equals x, and where does it start? Negative pi out to pi, and then it repeats itself, again over here. And what I do with the Fourier series is I get something that repeats itself for forever, okay? And I can take advantage of that in different ways. But watch this. If I take that, what I have here, what you see in red here is this guy. If you look here, I've got 2 sine of t minus 2 sine of 2t over 2 plus 2 sine of 3t over 3. I'll move this over. Minus 2 sine of 4t over 4 plus 2 sine of 5t over 5. What I want you to see is that it's 2 sine of t over where what's in the bottom, you know, I could write here over 1, and I could put a 1 right there. That number is increasing. It's 1 there, it's 2 here, it's 3 here, it's 4 here, it's 5 here. It's a pattern just like I have in my Taylor series where these things go up. But instead of having a polynomial that I'm graphing here to match the sine function, what I have is a bunch of sine functions themselves, and they are going to wind up matching this piece right here. So let me turn this thing on, and bam, look at that. Do you see that I've got this? It's wobbly. It's not great, but this green function here, it comes close, you know, and I can make it a lot better to matching this red line right here, and then at pi it comes down and it repeats itself. And you can see if I zoom out, I've only got that red graph 3 times, but this green graph here repeats for forever. And if I zoom out, like that looks pretty good, jagged, that up down up down up down up down. But so here I've got 5 terms, right, for my series that I've added here. What I've got down here, and I'll add it right now, and this is actually really cool because you can see it forming. Um, uh, I'm gonna let me move this over. So if I start adding terms, that would be my first term. That would be my second term. So that would be like this term minus that term. And then if I go further, I would be the first 3 terms. And I can go further and further, and this one might match. Does it match that? Pretty close. Maybe that was 5. Oh, it's 5 up there. So if I go here, boom, those guys will match each other. So this is a summation way of writing these. So you should see at a equals 5, I would take sum from n equals 1 to 5 of 2 sine of nt over n. And the n is this and that. And then this negative 1 to the 1 plus n is what makes it alternate positive and negative. But watch what happens if I add a bunch of terms. Let me get rid of this thing. Look at how good it gets. Look at how accurate that is, right? That is crazy accurate. Let me go out all the way to the end. Bam. If I zoom out here, you see that I get this jagged zigzag, almost like a sawtooth, right? I get this jagged zigzag periodic function that goes on for forever. And remember, what it's approximating, it's an approximation, but we can add more terms and make it more accurate. It's an approximation for that red graph, right? So, and it's that red graph repeating periodically over time. So what the Fourier series is what we'll learn in this differential equations class is how to start with this red function and then how to get to this formula right here. So that we can then approximate this thing with sines and cosines. The connection to differential equations has to do with resonance and resonance frequencies and stuff like that, and we'll get to that much, much, much later. But for now, I want you to see that I can take a arbitrary, well, it's not arbitrary. I can take a function like this, and I can approximate it with sines and cosines. You may say, where is this used? Well, the Fourier transform is similar to this, and it is a way to take anything and break it down into just sines and cosines, and that becomes a much easier way to store data. And if you talk about digitizing music, like this is how it's done. You digitize music. What I mean by that is like, how does Spotify send music over the internet, right? It doesn't send the actual music file, it sends an approximation to the music file. And what does it do? It uses techniques similar to this Fourier series right here. It can say, let's send this instead of sending whatever this mess is up here. And when you're talking about music, it's much more messy. It's not all perfect like this. Anyway, another place that we see it is spectroscopy. You see Fourier analysis and spectroscopy in chemistry. But the bottom line here is that what we're going to do in this unit is figure out how to start with a periodic function, okay? And then we're going to figure out how to represent that with sines and cosines. So you have some more videos to watch, and I will see you soon. I forgot to I'm back. I forgot to mention, there is a formula for how to get this. There are very basic, or not bad, there are very straightforward techniques for how to get from this guy to that guy. And that's what this course is about. I did not want to start by throwing those at you because I want you to see what the Fourier series does. It it creates new functions with sines and cosines. So as we move along, we'll start learning about what the formulas are and how we can go about um, what tricks we can use and how we can do it efficiently. And you'll get really, really good at it. So I'll see you soon. Bye.